Hello, my environmental scientists. Today we are beginning our first science investigation, observing mealworms. Do you know what a mealworm is? We're going to find out. If you haven't done so already, pause the video and make sure you have your science notebook and something to write with. We will need it for every science lesson. Open your science notebook to the table of contents. You will write today's date, September 3rd, 2020. The title of today's investigation is Observing Mealworms. You can abbreviate investigation as INV, just like I did. You will write INV 1.1, Observing Mealworms. Put that under the activity and make sure to put page number, page 7 under page number. Pause the video to make your table of contents look like mine. Next, turn the page to the next page after My Science Notebook. Put page number 7 and write the title at the top of the page. Pause the video to make your page number 7 look like mine. All right, let's begin. Mealworms. You'll be studying an organism called a mealworm. You will observe these organisms to find out about their structures and their behaviors. Each structure and behavior has a purpose or function that helps them survive. What do you know about mealworms? Take a minute to think about mealworms. It's okay if you don't know or have never seen a mealworm before. Here's a picture of one. Think about its structures. What type of behaviors do you think it will have? Each investigation we do in science will have a focus question. Our focus question is, how do mealworm structures and behaviors help them grow and survive? Pause the video to make your science notebook look like mine by writing down this focus question. When we return to in-person learning, we will actually get to have hands-on investigations. Until then, you'll see pictures and sometimes video since we can't really be in class. Let's observe the video of the mealworm larva. Pretty cool, huh? My favorite part was whenever he went in reverse, or it went in reverse. Okay, what structures, now it's time to make our observations. What structures does a mealworm have on its body? Take a second to think about that. What mealworm behaviors did you observe? I noticed that the mealworm has lines or segments, just like in this photo right here. How many legs did you see? Did you see the 1, 2, 3, and on the other side, 4, 5, 6 legs? Did you see the 2 antenna or feelers up at the top where it could feel and use its sensory characteristics to know what's going on in its environment? What mealworm behaviors did you observe? I noticed that it was crawling all along the paper. I noticed that it was really feeling the paper, holding on to the paper. If we were in class and you would have touched it, what do you think would have happened? Do you think that the mealworm would like to be pet like a dog or a cat? Do you think that it would go into a ball like a roly-poly, one of the other insects we're going to be looking at? What do you think would have happened? Well, I'm sorry, but this might not make a good pet if you like petting mealworms because it does not like being touched. It will recoil or curl up if it's touched. All right, remember, continue to think about our focus question. How do the structures we just looked at and the behaviors of the mealworm help it to grow and survive? We won't answer this today, but we will be able to answer it once we're done with our investigation. Mealworm needs. You may have learned that all living organisms need 4 things: air, water, food, and a space with shelter. The mealworm environment was set up to provide for all the needs of the mealworms. If we were in class, you would be doing this. We would have a container, holes punched in the lid, wheat and oat bran, potato, carrot, or pieces of apple. What type of need is a container? The container provides a space with shelter. What type of need does punching holes in the lid mean? Does it mean air, water, food, or space with shelter? What do you think? It gives it air. What about wheat and oat bran? That's its source of food. And potatoes, carrots, or apples, just like us, another source of food. The mealworm environment. All of these things together describe the mealworm environment. The environment is everything, both living and non-living, that surrounds and influences an organism, including other organisms. Each item on the list, each separate part of an environment, is called an environmental factor. One environmental factor is air temperature. One way we can describe air is by measuring its temperature. The temperature in your house might be around 22 degrees Celsius or 72 degrees Fahrenheit. What would happen to the mealworms if that environmental factor changed? Does it like the same environment we like? Does it like a colder environment, like 5 degrees Celsius, like the temperature in your refrigerator? How could we find out if the environmental factor of air temperature makes a difference in the structures and behaviors of mealworms? Well, we will be observing how this environmental factor of air temperature affects our mealworms. But before we do, we need to learn more about environments and environmental factors on our Earth. So, we're going to end today's lesson by making sure you read along and listen to the second video in today's assignment. It is titled 2 Terrestrial Environments Reading. Read and listen carefully because you will be answering some comprehension questions. We need to know about environments to help us know how factors will affect our mealworms in cold environments. Will they like it? Will they not like it? And that's what we'll be looking at whenever we conduct the second part of, or whenever we continue our science lesson.